Hey guys, and welcome. We're going to talk about the 10 things that kill attraction, that just ruin their desire for you. And most of the time, we don't even realize that we are doing these things. Sometimes this stuff is just behavior that is subconscious. And so I just want to make it really clear for you all so that if you're trying to pursue someone and you're really interested in them and you're like, something is killing the attraction. What am I doing wrong, Erica? Well, hang in there with me because I'm going to go over all the top 10 things that really just kind of put attraction in the coffin. I'm going to say the last two are obviously the ones that are typically the most subconscious thing that pushes people away from you. And they may not even be able to tell you what that is, but it's a subconscious thing that they pick up on. And so we're going to talk about what that is and what you can do to work around that. Okay. So you're in good hands. What kills attraction? What is it that kills the desire? The top 10 things. Orville Nation, I'm so glad you're here. Hi, Matt. Juan, I'm so glad that you guys are all here. Oh, thank you for that, Orville. I so appreciate you. Okay, guys. So, and before I get into this, if you're watching this and some of these, you're like, you know what, Erica, this has killed my chances in the past. This has been something that I have been guilty of. It's ruined things for me. I put in all this effort to build this momentum with this person, to build attraction, desire. And one of the things that you're sharing really was a huge error that I made and I need help. If you're that person, you're like, I need help, fill out that form and see if my coaching is a fit for you. So without further ado, let's jump into it. One of the things that kills attraction right away, and I think we all can be a bit guilty about this because when you're dating, when you're pursuing someone, you're nervous, right? And most of the time we're nervous. Why? Because we don't want to be rejected. No one wants to be rejected. No one is signing up and going, hey, please reject me. I believe that we are made of love, that is in our DNA, and that rejection feels like poison to our body, poison to the system. It's not something that we're built for. So when we have it, we're just like, this feels awful. I don't like this feeling. So we do the thing that I'm about to share with you because we're afraid of being rejected. And that is, we're just not being genuine. We're trying to be someone that we're not. We're not being sincere with who we are. And we're just putting on a show so that we hope that they will like us. But guess what? People feel that. They can feel when you're not being genuine, when you're trying to be someone else, when you're trying to be cool, when you're trying to be this image of what you think they want you to be. I think that's always the biggest mistake, is when you're trying to build attraction and desire, you have this image of who you think they want you to be. And then you try to be that and you negate yourself. And then you come across as not genuine, and people feel that energy and it turns them off. It kills attraction. It kills the desire. The second thing that kills attraction, desire is terrible communication. Terrible communication, and it's something that I think a lot of people, I don't think most people are very innately good communicators. I think that to be a good communicator requires some serious work. But when you're a terrible communicator, whether that's over text or whether that's, not being honest with your intentions, that terrible communication, what it ends up doing is it creates a lack of clarity. It creates confusion for them. And actually, it's just frustrating when we are doing dating relations, whenever we're relating. Communication is such a cornerstone, such a foundation to building relationships. But when there's terrible communication, it really just breaks it all down. It really kills the desire. It kills any momentum that you're trying to build if the communication is bad. So, not being genuine, having terrible communication. And if some of these are kind of hitting home for you, it's okay to go, ouch, I'm not doing so great with this. But my advice is start being proactive, do something about it today. This is the biggest mistake that I see people make when it comes to dating relationships is that's just who I am. That's bullshit. It's not just who you are. We all, especially now in this day and age, no one has an excuse not to grow and improve. We have so much information at our disposal. There's really just no excuse why whatever you're deficient in, you can't evolve in. There's so many resources in there. So that's not a valid excuse to just go, this is who I am. No, no, no. We're all on a journey of evolving. So don't let terrible communication and that sense of not being genuine be there. And I'm also curious, you guys tell me in the comments which one that you think is the ultimate thing that kills attraction for you. What kills attraction for you? What is it that you just feel like there was desire and then it just completely deflates? Let me know in the chat section which one resonates with you. Here's a third thing that really kills attraction is not being direct. This is where a lot of people who struggle with being overly nice get killed and get put in the friend zone because not being direct and just saying, look, like, hey, I'm into you. Or you have the other guys who maybe are the cool guys or the women who are like, she's just trying to play hard to get. But by not being direct, what that does is once again, it creates confusion. So if you're the nice person, you're the nice guy, the nice girl, and you're not being direct by saying like, hey, listen, I'm into you, I'm interested in you, this is why I want to spend time with you. When you're not direct about that, you get put in the friend zone. And a lot of times people want to play that safety zone, but it's not safe because in the end, you end up just spinning your wheels, investing in someone when there's just no attraction there. And you would have known that sooner had you been more direct in the beginning. Or the same goes for the people who are just trying to be cool. And they're like, well, I don't want to come across as desperate. I don't want to come across as needy. But sometimes that actually shoots you in the foot because they're going, okay, I don't know if their interest is really there. So I don't feel a lot of intention. I don't feel like they're really putting in or investing as much as I am. So I'm just going to cut my losses with this person and pursue the other person who I feel is being very intentional. So, not being direct while you think you might be playing it safe, while you think you might be avoiding rejection, you're actually setting yourself up to get sidelined, so to speak. So the next one is a tricky one, but number 4 is not enough sexual tension. And I think this one is really complicated for people who are typically nice guys, nice women, people who just constantly play it overly safe and don't have any of that playful sexual energy, that there's no tension, there's no touch there. For these kind of people, this is where the person leaves a date going, they're a nice person, but, and the but is that I didn't feel chemistry with that person. I didn't feel any sexual tension with them. And the only way that you can do that is by taking some risk and opening the door to some flirtation by some respectful touch, touch here, touch on the knee, like see if they're open to it. But it's creating that tension, throwing some little sexual innuendos. You don't want to overdo this by because then it's just trying too hard, not authentic. But if you're really friendly and there's no chemistry, there's no sexual tension, then that right there is like, nice person. Am I ever going to go to bed with that person? Never, never going to happen. So to recap, not being genuine, terrible communication, not being direct, not enough sexual tension. Here's a fifth thing, and I've talked about this a lot, and I've done a lot of videos on this, being too nice. Because being too nice essentially is a subconscious way of communicating, I don't value myself and I value and prioritize you first, and my boundaries really suck. And that kind of too nice attitude is a huge turnoff. Why? Because and I've covered this extensively in some of my former videos about like we gravitate towards people who feel like they are valuable. We want to be with someone who perceives themselves as valuable. So when you're too nice, you're essentially subconsciously saying, I am prioritizing you over myself. And we as humans, we know that something about that just doesn't feel right. I remember dating someone and it was the same thing. It was just dropping everything to be there for me, to do what I want, just to make my life easy, nice. And while that all sounds kind and grandiose, on a gut level, it just didn't feel right to me. And I felt like that person didn't cultivate any value for themselves, that they were putting me on a pedestal, but they were not on a pedestal for their own sake. And that's a big turn off. The sixth thing is feeling needy. It's that needy, desperate energy. And the way that shows up is you're very anxious to call them back. You're overly available to them. Um, it's like they feel like your life is not going to go on or have any substance if they're not a part of it. Like you put that kind of pressure on them that you have to have them in your life. Listen, that kind of healthy neediness where someone really adds value in your life is cultivated through time and experiences. That is not something that you just offer to someone as soon as you begin dating them. That's not how it works. So if they feel like you are too needy, that you're very clingy, that you just look for reasons to be around them, but you don't have your own ambitions, you don't have your own hobbies, the things that you're pursuing, they go, this person feels really needy, and that's a big turn off. Big turn off. Um, Here, are you guys doing okay? Is this making sense for you guys? Just to recap, if someone wants to take notes: one, not being genuine; two, terrible communication; three, not being direct; four, not enough sexual tension; five, too nice; and six, you just feel needy. So, seven kind of plays along with six and five, which is overly available. Once again, another great story, dating someone. And it was like if I called or said, I want to meet for a coffee, and this has happened several times. I want to meet for coffee. I want to go to dinner. I want to go to the beach. I want to go for a hike. It's just like that person will drop everything for me. And I've been in those scenarios, and it just something doesn't, it's once again, it's as a woman, as a man, you just know something doesn't feel right. They're just too overly available. We need that tension. We need that sense of polarity. And so when someone's overly available, you're just like, I don't have enough invested in you, and you don't have enough invested in me for us to be this available to one another. Like that takes time. And even if you are in a solid relationship, even in that, there's respect, there's healthy boundaries of this is what I do to take care of me, and this is what you do to take care of you. And I don't expect you to just drop all of that every time I need you. Granted, there are times and places where that is the case, but it's not every time and it's not every place. Is this making sense? I agree. Rower, it says sometimes you need to make her miss you, and vice versa for women. Sometimes the same thing. A guy needs to be able to miss a woman, but being overly available, not the way to do it. The eighth thing is this: you don't take care of yourself. For those of you, you've put on too many pounds. You're not taking care of yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and people feel that from you. Once again, it conveys a lack of value for yourself. Now, doesn't mean you have to have it all together. Doesn't mean you have to have a six pack. Doesn't mean that you can't have your emotional triggers. Can be that you are having a downer time in your spirituality. Doesn't mean that. But what it does mean is that you're being active about it and you're communicating that you're being active about it. So if you know you're overweight, then communicate to her that, yeah, I'm in the gym because I want to look better. Like I feel like I can do better. And so I'm being proactive about it. Don't like that I get triggered. So that's why I work with my therapist. I don't like my spiritual journey. So I'm getting more into yoga or spending time with a spiritual mentor. If you're not caring for yourself, it makes them feel like you don't place any importance on yourself, which can play into neediness. You're going to overly need me because you don't know how to take care of you. And the way that you're showing up by letting yourself go tells me that you don't know how to take care of yourself. And therefore, your problems are going to become my responsibility. And I'm not here for that. That kills attraction, that kills desire. Um, Here's the ninth thing. And so this is the one where I'm telling you where it gets tricky. So, and I'm just curious, what are the things, let me know in the chat section, what are the things that really kill attraction and desire for you? So the ninth one is this: they don't feel safe with you. Who are the people that people don't feel safe with? People, and it's the people, it's the things that I have shared with you that kill desire. So when you have these traits, essentially a person doesn't feel safe with you. I'll never forget talking to a man who is in a very loving relationship and they have children and they're doing really well. And I asked him, and it was quite interesting hearing his take on this. I said, he had dated a lot, was a single guy, and had some relationships here and there. And I asked him, I said, what was it about your wife that made you choose her, that made you feel like she's the one and that you fell in love with her? And he said this: I felt safe with her. And I believe that that goes for both sexes. A man needs to feel safe with a woman needs to feel safe with a man. And so how do you make a person feel safe? By doing the opposite of all the things that I've just shared with you. Being genuine, being upfront with them, not mincing your words, being very direct with your words, being very direct with your intentions, being very sincere, being very genuine, having the courage to talk about things that are uncomfortable to talk about, but you do it anyway. These sort of things, showing the person that you take care of yourself, that you value yourself. When you start doing these things, when you do the opposite of the things that kill desire and kill attraction, essentially that makes a person feel, okay, I can trust this person. I can feel safe with them. They know how to take care of themselves. So if I ever need them, they're going to also be able to show me how to take care of myself in that area. Or they really value themselves. So they're going to have a value for me and the way that I take care of myself. If we have something awkward go on, if something blows up in our face, they have the emotional fortitude. They're an emotional warrior that they're not going to run from that conversation. They're not going to lie. They're not going to gaslight. They are going to be direct and honest, and we are going to get resolved because that's how they show up in life. And so I feel safe with this person. Does this make sense? Is this resonating with you guys? I love Ninja Wolf. Ninja Wolf, I'm so glad you're here. He says, what if she forgets that you were gone and never misses you? Well, then you either invite her out to coffee to remind her and look damn good when you do that, or you move on to someone who does remember. And Robert, I think that that's such great advice. He says separation is good, but not too much. And I have to agree with that because otherwise, what's the point in doing a relationship? Oh, that's so good, Orville. He says, a woman who mistreats others is an attraction killer for me. I think that that is so true. And it's one of those things of also a lack of value. So many women have said that and I believe that men do this as well, that when you're on a date with someone and they're rude to the waiter, they're rude to the staff, that that is a deal breaker for them, and people pay attention to that. So it's just always know that in attraction and dating, that people are watching, they're observing how you show up, because they know that if you show up that way with the waiter, that chances are you're going to show up that way with them, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So here's the last thing that kills attraction. And this one is super tricky and it sounds very generic, but I think because our society, our swipe culture, because we can just swipe and find people the next day, that we don't have this, most people don't have the skills, or they don't have the, once again, emotional fortitude, the emotional warrior heart to walk through challenges, to be uncomfortable, but communicate anyways, to be vulnerable, to say when you're really into someone. That when you can't show up this way, I believe that most people would agree that this is the ultimate attraction killer, desire killer, which is a person who plays games. People don't want to be gamed. Listen, putting your heart out there, going on dates, building attraction, that in itself is can be difficult. It can be vulnerable for a lot of people. What kills it for people is when they start sensing that people are playing games, when they start playing overly hard to get, when they don't return the call, when they show up overly late on the date, when they make excuses why they can't come. This kills attraction for people. That sense of gaming feels immature. It feels like you're wasting their time. They feel devalued by you. They feel like you're taking advantage of them. So you have to ask yourself first. I find that typically people who are playing games with others are essentially playing games with themselves. It's like if you find a person and they're very harsh and they're very judgmental. If you really dig and get to know that person, as judgmental as they are to everyone else, secretly on the inside, if you heard the way that they spoke to themselves, they're excessively even more judgmental towards themselves. So a person who plays games is essentially someone who is not in integrity with themselves. And so they can't show up. That's them going, I can't even do this for myself. So I sure as hell can't give that to you. Integrity, respect, being direct, being truthful. So when someone is over the top with playing games, kills it, kills the attraction, kills the desire. Robert says sometimes you have to be open to be hurt, but you need knowing that you will be okay. Yes, you're not going to die from it. I promise you that. You're not going to die, and you're actually a lot stronger than you realize. So I just want to recap these. One, not being genuine. Two, terrible communication. Three, not being direct. Four, not enough sexual attention. Five, too nice. Six, you feel needy. Seven, overly available. And eight, you don't take care of yourself. Nine, they don't feel safe with you. And 10, they play games. So if any of this resonated with you, then let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments which ones either you've been affected by or the ones that you feel like you need to change in. Either or, I'm curious to hear in the comments or in the chat. And if this really spoke to you, if it helped you, like it and share it with someone, because you never know when they need this message just as much as you needed it. Thank you, Orville. Reggie, I'm so glad that you're here. Rico, thank you for being here. So if you guys need more support, you're like, Arica, this is me. I really just don't know how to move through this. I don't know what that's going to look like. Then make sure you apply for coaching. I've got a form right there that you can fill out to see if my coaching is a good fit for you. Guys, I love you so much. And I'm so grateful that we get to have this time together. And I can't wait to rejoin you next Monday at this same time. I love you all so much. You take care, and I will see you next week. And we've got more videos coming out this week, so stay tuned. Bye, guys.